Claressa on another victory. You put on a boxing masterclass, says Remy's husband, Papoose, okay? Wow. From the way you interact with your family down to being a perfectionist when it comes to your craft, all good, okay? You are a true queen, true gaslighting, my opinion, okay? You being mentioned with the all-time greats is overdue and well deserved. You did for women's boxing what many have attempted, completely sold out an arena, and they all came to see the GOAT, okay? Glad I'm able to add value, says Papoose, Remy's husband, from behind the scenes executive standpoint.
Y'all can't break me. All y'all trollers, liars, Tasha K and Lakeisha Dean, this is for y'all. Y'all are cancers to the Black African-American culture. Y'all are cancers. All y'all do y'all whole career try to break down Black women and tell lies about them. Y'all are sick. And y'all are some sick individuals. And I hate y'all. I do. I hate y'all. And quit making videos about me. If you hate me so much, stop making videos. I'm not scared of none of y'all. Hey, none of y'all make me do nothing different. Nothing. I'm self-made, self-built. I got $8 million. Are you dumb?
Oh, I ain't seeing nobody.
You ain't seeing nobody. Okay, well, what about the innocent bystander, the fiance? Right now, Claressa's fiance is like the innocent one. He got betrayed by his fiance and a married man that has a wife. Like, why would Papoose turn around and do that to somebody else's relationship?
You absolutely right, which made me give Papoose the side eye, because I'm looking at you like Black love this and Black love that, and you hold your woman down, but you out here moving like this with the next man woman. And then for the fiance, I would have a little bit more empathy for him, and I have empathy, but I would have a little bit more sympathy for him if he wasn't out here, oh, I'm gonna hit Remy next. Are you grieving the loss?
It was skinny in the ass, but it's okay. I saw when you was talking to Crawford about, how you beat me up and stuff. I don't think you can. But I'm happy that you're here, and I put big bitches like you on their back for a living. I want to tell you that to your face so you know. I'm not going to be played with. So while you came to my media workout, you learned I'm not in a bad mood. And your hands on me. But I'm going to say before the fight. And if you is next, you will bitch you in bad trouble.
Got that, you put it on me on my arm. So.
You be on your back. I ain't say your ass, your back.
I wasn't on there.
I didn't turn that music down. Go see. Got you. Make sure you watch Greatness tomorrow. Got you. Right. All right.
Christmas is supposed to slow everything down. Lights, family, warmth, the kind of moments people save and replay later. But for Claressa Shields, Christmas 2025 allegedly did the opposite. Instead of comfort, it exposed something that had been quietly building for months. Not a loud betrayal, not a public fight, just a realization that settles in your chest and doesn't leave. She went live that day and said something simple. She said she was alone on Christmas. No tears, no anger, just a sentence. And at first, people took it at face value, because loneliness doesn't always come with drama. Sometimes it just exists, but the internet doesn't stop at words. It looks for timelines. And that's when the cracks started to show, because on that same day, while the idea of isolation was settling in, Claressa was live in a Louis Vuitton store. Not before Christmas, not after. That same window, luxury shelves, bright lighting, a duffel bag front and center, and then something that changed the entire conversation. The receipt, not blurred, not hidden. Her receipt, her name, her purchase, clear enough to read, clear enough to timestamp, clear enough to prove one thing without interpretation. She bought the bag herself. That should have been the end of it. A woman shopping on a holiday. No big deal. But hours later, that same duffel bag appeared again. This time not in a store, not on a shelf, but presented as a gift. Framed as if it came from Papoose. That's when the first quiet question formed. If it was a gift, why was the receipt hers? No one screamed it. No one trended it immediately. It lingered. And lingering questions make people look closer. Then came the second moment. Later that same day, another video surfaced. Different location, different store, but familiar energy. The camera angle, the grip, the way the phone was held. People who had watched Remy Ma's content before recognized it instantly. That same filming style, that same positioning, and the person behind the camera appeared to be Papoose. And then, just as quickly as it appeared, the video disappeared. Deleted. According to claims, the store owner removed it after a call. Not after backlash, not after time passed. After a call, which only raised another question. Why delete something unless there's something to hide? By the time people realized what was happening, the clip had already been sent elsewhere, to Tasha K. And that's where the story shifted. Because once footage exists outside your control, explanations stop working. The claim wasn't just that Papoose was around. It was that he, Claressa, and Remy Ma were all in the same city during the same holiday window. And suddenly, the story wasn't about a bag anymore. It was about presence. Timelines started colliding instead of lining up. Same day, same outfits, same filming style, different narratives. That's when people stopped calling it messy and started calling it structured. Because what emerged wasn't a love triangle. It looked more like a system, one where roles were clear, even if they weren't spoken out loud. Publicly, the narrative was separation, estrangement, distance. Privately, the marriage between Papoose and Remy Ma was still legally intact. No finalized divorce, no official closure, and that detail matters more than feelings ever could, because marriages don't just hold emotions, they hold finances. That's when money stopped being background noise and became the center of the story. Claims began circulating about financial strain. Not rumors, records. Alleged unpaid taxes stretching back years. Not 1 year, not 2, over a decade. Liens stacking, numbers compounding. The kind of pressure that doesn't go away just because you're quiet. And then attention turned to Remy Ma's situation. Allegedly carrying her own financial burden. 6 figures. Tax obligations that don't disappear. And when both sides of a marriage are under financial stress, separation becomes risky. Divorce doesn't just end relationships, it opens books. It exposes records. It forces transparency. According to claims, the divorce was initiated, then withdrawn. That detail changed everything. Because if separating would trigger financial collapse, then staying legally married becomes strategic. Even if emotionally distant, even if publicly distant. And that's where Claressa's role began to look different. Not as a partner, not as a villain, but as a buffer. Someone financially stable, someone earning consistently, someone whose resources could quietly ease pressure without paperwork, someone whose belief could be leaned on without legal obligation. This reframed earlier moments. The apartment wasn't just convenience, it was shelter. The car wasn't just generosity, it was access. The bag wasn't romance, it was optics, and when you look at it that way, the Christmas claim of being alone becomes something else. Not loneliness, realization. Because according to the claims, Papoose wasn't alone that day. He was with family, with his wife, with the structure that never officially ended. That's not chaos, that's order. The most unsettling part wasn't cheating, it was positioning. Because cheating implies impulsiveness. This felt calculated. Then came the claim about the $8 million deal. On paper, it sounded life-changing. A deal that could stabilize everything. But questions followed quickly. If the money existed, where was it? If it was real, why was it never transferred? Why did it only exist as reassurance? That's when the theory formed. Not accusation, logic. That the deal wasn't meant to pay out, it was meant to buy time. Time to avoid audits, time to avoid exposure, time to keep everyone quiet and in place. And if that's true, then Claressa wasn't being courted. She was being managed. This is where language matters. According to what was alleged, the words used privately weren't affectionate. They were functional, terms that reduce a person to usefulness. Not love, not commitment, utility. And once that lens is applied, everything sharpens. The silence wasn't avoidance, it was protection. The deletion wasn't panic, it was control. The contradictions weren't mistakes, they were overlaps. This isn't a story about ignorance, it's about exclusion. Because Claressa wasn't stupid, she was uninformed. And those are not the same thing. When someone keeps you close without giving you the full picture, they're not confused. They're deciding for you. That's the quiet danger in stories like this. No screaming, no dramatic endings. Just a slow understanding that what you thought you were building never had a foundation. The footage deletion is the clearest symbol of that. Videos don't disappear by accident. Receipts don't lie on their own. Timelines don't clash unless they're hiding something. And when pressure is applied behind the scenes to erase evidence, it tells you everything you need to know about intention. The hardest part of this story isn't the allegations, it's the structure, because this pattern isn't rare. It happens whenever money, reputation, and silence intersect. Someone carries the emotional weight, someone carries the legal weight, someone carries the financial weight, and rarely are all three roles held by the same person. Claressa held belief, and belief is expensive when it's misplaced. By the end of this, the question isn't who cheated or who lied louder. It's who benefited from the silence, because silence protected the marriage, silence protected the finances, silence protected the system, and the cost of that silence was clarity. Claressa didn't lose a relationship, she lost the truth. And truth hurts more when you realize it was never offered. This story doesn't end with closure. It ends with a choice. Walk away and force daylight. Or stay quiet and keep paying for peace that isn't yours. That's why this isn't just celebrity drama. It's a warning about how easily love can be used to stabilize problems it didn't create, about how often people are kept close, not because they're wanted, but because they're useful. At this point, the story isn't just about receipts, timelines, or who stood next to who on a holiday. It's about awareness. When emotions, money, and silence mix, the truth doesn't always come out loud. Sometimes it shows up in what gets deleted, what never gets explained, and who keeps benefiting while someone else keeps believing. Claressa's situation forces a bigger question that a lot of people don't like to ask. How often do people stay close to you, not because they're committed, but because it's convenient? And how long can silence protect a situation before it finally collapses under its own weight? Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think this was confusion, or was it calculated from the start? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this conversation isn't one-sided. If you want more deep breakdowns that go beyond surface drama and actually connect the dots, hit that like button and subscribe. More stories like this are coming, and you don't want to miss what unfolds next.